Hey, what's up, guys? It's Andrew from ProducerSociety.com. It's actually going to take it's going to take a while to get used to saying that. I usually say GarageBand Professional. I had to change the domain name. But anyway, today we're going to talk about making backing tracks with GarageBand. This is going to be it's going to be similar to my article, How to Write a Song in 10 Minutes with GarageBand. I mean, they're very similar, but this one is just kind of for a slightly different purpose. But anyway, I have a step-by-step guide here at ProducerSociety.com. The link will be in the description as usual. But anyway, let's just get into it. So I would say there's 5 steps really to making a backing track. You want to create your riff, the loop, or the sample. You can use one of those 3. Use GarageBand's drummer track. Fill out the song with arpeggiators, synths, and other instruments. Just using the copy-paste function. And then pan the instruments a little bit, create room for the instrument you want to jam with. And then also you want to master the track, at least GarageBand master it anyway. But anyway, so I would say without a doubt the easiest way to create a backing track is just using loops. Like you can make a backing track in 2 minutes if you use loops. So obviously you go into your loops and then you can find each one categorized by instrument genre and descriptor. And obviously you have the keys as well and the tempo and the number of beats, which is extremely useful. It's going to come in handy later. But yeah, it's pretty simple to do. You can see as I have here, like if you want to access all this stuff, you just click on this right here, and then you just drag and drop it. You just drag and drop it like that. That's all you have to do really. So yeah, let's exit out of that. And so there's also other ways that you can do this. You can use samples as well. When it comes to sampling, I have an entire other article and video about doing sampling and how to go about it. So I would say the big thing with sampling, perhaps the most difficult part about it anyway, is getting the exact size of the sample and then kind of quantizing it so that it falls directly in a certain number of bars. So for instance, I did this last night as an example, sample example right here. I used Pellini's song Paper Moon, just a section of it. So yeah, I have it exactly 8 bars. So you want to make sure that when you use a sample that you loop it, and then when you loop it, it's going to be in the same time signature the whole time. Or in other words, you want to loop it in such a way where, for example, if your drums are in 4/4, if they're 4 beats or 4 measures or what have you, you want to be able to loop your drums and then continue to have the drums in the same time signature as the song. So I'm gonna do this right now. So let's add a drum beat right now. Shuffle drum set. Let's just throw that in there and see what that sounds like. Let's try this one. Kind of sounds hilarious, but anyway, yeah, so you can see how it works with the sample. So yeah, you want to make sure everything is chopped up in such a way where when you loop it, it falls in time with everything else. So moving on from that, I want to make sure this video is around 10 minutes. So let's move on to the next part. As you can see here, I kind of did a diagram showing you the sample. That way it's 8 bars. In terms of MIDI or tracking an instrument, obviously you're going to know, you have to know, I assume that you already know how to use MIDI and how to make a quick little melody on your instrument. That's very basic stuff. If you don't, check out my song, How to Make a Song with GarageBand in 10 minutes or less. And for setting up your guitar and other instruments, just check out this article at Producer Society. I think it's called How to Plug Your Guitar into GarageBand. But anyway, so I'm going to go back into this backing track. It's one that I made especially for this. So what I did is I just went into the loops and I just grabbed, where's the guitar? I just grabbed this alternative acoustic. I just dragged and dropped it in like that. And then that was it. And then it's in the key of B major. See, it kind of sounds nice. So yeah, I mean, I actually really like it. I think it sounds dope. But yeah, I almost should have recreated it right in front of you, but then I wouldn't have. I would have. I'd be running out of time. But anyway, so what you do is you just go. I'm gonna delete this, and then we're gonna add it in again. So you create drummer region, right? By the way, I got a present for you. Go to producersociety.com/free mixing cheat sheet. That'll put you on my list to get a free mixing cheat sheet. And I send all kinds of cool tips and stuff that I don't share anywhere else. You can also join my forum at forum.producersociety.com. For now, it's totally free to sign up, but in the future, I'll probably lock it down and then turn it into a full course platform. And then so you just listen. And then so because I know this is in B major, I have this flute riff right here, right? So I would just go, so the song's in B major, so I just use the notes, I just use the notes of B major on the musical typing. See, you kind of just get a feel for it, right? And then if you check out here, I have the gazing or whatever it's called. So that, you just play it with the backing track or with the rest of the song. And that's pretty much all you have to do, honestly. You just use a couple loops if you want, or you can track it, or you can track your own instrument, or you can use a sample. I mean, the drummer track is so intelligent that you can make a song with it in no time at all. It's great, It's even kind of worrying. It's like, man, AI is going to be so good in the future. But anyway, so yeah, when it comes to using the drummer track, you just want to make sure that you match the drummer's style with the type of song that you're creating. So as you can see in this image, you select Kyle, pop rock, or you can have alternative, or you can choose like punk rock, funk rock, or what have you. So let's just use it as an example. Let's choose a different drummer, and you can see how weird it can sound. Um, like let's use punk rock. You know what? It actually doesn't sound that bad. Let's try funk rock. I guess everything just sounds good. But anyway, yeah, I mean, the principle still stands. Just choose one that you think sounds good with it, and then you just adjust your parameters down here to figure out what you want. This video isn't really about the drummer track, so I'm not going to get into that too much. But yeah, so another thing is that you want to match the time signature of the drummer with the music. So for instance, you'll notice that I have the drummer track right here is 8 bars, goes from 9 to 17, and it matches with this as well. So whenever you create music like this, you just want to make sure everything kind of falls together, with with a few exceptions. It's pretty much as simple as that. It doesn't really take much else. You also can turn on your groove track. So you just select this option right here. So you click on this again, configure track header, groove track, and then if you hover your cursor over here, you can choose what instrument you want to follow. Sometimes it sounds good, sometimes it doesn't. Typically speaking, you want your drummer to follow the bass. That's usually how that works. So I mean, there's another way of doing this as well. It's actually slightly different, but you can also choose what instrument you want to follow here. This is cool too, but as I just said, it's meant primarily for the bass. If you try to, I actually tried it when it was following the acoustic guitar, and it sounded weird. Let's try it right now. I'll show you what it sounds like. Let's turn on the groove track as well. Yeah, it actually sounds amazing. Yeah. But the other day when I tried it, it didn't sound good at all. I must have had the settings a little bit different. But yeah, so moving on with that. From here, this is kind of optional, I guess, but you could just fill out your instruments. If you want to make more instruments, you just kind of use your copy and paste on instruments that you already created. And then, just choose another instrument. So let's use Zen Garden, It all depends on how much you want to fill out your backing track. I assume that you want something to jam over, so you don't want to fill it out too much, Moving on from that, so in terms of figuring out what notes are going to go with the backing track, you just have to take a look at your loop, assuming that you've done that, you've used a loop, and then you just check out the key. And then let's say you don't know music theory at all. I'm just going to assume you don't. Just Google it. Just go, okay, well, the key of B major, notes of B major, and you should be able to find it, right? This guy has a great website, the Piano Keyboard Guide. Yeah, so here it is right here. B, C sharp, D sharp, E, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B. That's the B major scale. And that's great, You just figure out the notes of the B major scale in your musical typing, which is right here. I have it laid out for you right here as well. And you can just jam on it, and you should be able to figure something out. Moving on from that, I would say to pan the instruments as well. That's an important thing for creating space in the mix. This applies to pretty much every type of song that you'll ever create. However, it applies in this case as well. So, you just want to pan your instruments in such a way where you're creating room for the instrument that you're jamming with. So as you can see, my panning is sit right here. This isn't actually an instrument that I want. So I have, the flute is this way. it's at plus 30, and then this one is minus 30, and then the acoustic guitar is slightly negative 10. And then, you know, you would have your primary instrument, the guitar, whatever instrument you're playing with, you have that set maybe at center or maybe off to the right a little bit. Yeah, I just want to create room for your mixes for the instruments. And then for the last part, you know, you want to put your song through the mastering phase, GarageBand mastering at least. And what you do for that, you just want to make sure that all your VU meters are not above 0 dB. You want to make sure everything's not clipping. Into the red, I usually have this set at 0. You go share, export song to disk, put it to your desktop as an AIF file. And then you just drag and drop it back into the DAW, and then you just go into your master channel like this. Turn on your compressor, a limiter, channel EQ, and then you just use presets if you don't want to waste time. Mastering tools, so let's just go, okay, rock. And for your compressor, platinum analog tape, and then for your limiter, I usually set it to like that, +2 gain, -1 dB output level, and then you're good to go. And then you just hit share to iTunes or wherever you want to go with it, and then you're done. So I mean, creating a backing track or a simple song like this, it doesn't take long at all. The same principle applies with iOS as well. In iOS, I mean, the features are essentially the same with the exception of how the interface is organized, and there's no drummer track in the same way as either. So you just do the same thing. You choose a loop, use another instrument to fill out the song, and then choose the drum loop that you want. You can quickly create something that you can jam over. But anyway, I hope this was helpful to you. And yeah, I guess I'll see you in the next video. Peace.